Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam Stutis series. Today's shloka number 40 of Kunti's prayers from chapter 8 of Canto 1. Ime janapadas vridhaah
Ime janapada sriddhaah
supakvaushadhi virudah
supakvaushadhi virudhaah
vanadri nadyuddanvantah
vanadrinadyutanvantaah
khe tava vikshitaih.
Khedante tava vikshitaih.
Word for word meaning translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ime, all these, Janapadaha,
Janapadaah,
cities and towns,
cities and towns,
Svriddhaha,
sriddhaah,
flourished,
supakva,
mature, Aushadhi, herbs, Virudhaha, vegetables, Vana, forests, Adri, hills, Nadi, rivers, Udanvantaha, seas, he, certainly, Edhante, increasing, Tava, by you, Vikshitaihi, seen. Translation: all these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance.
because the herbs and grains are in abundance.
The trees are full of fruits.
The trees are full of
The
fruits.
rivers are flowing.
The rivers are flowing.
The hills are full of minerals.
The hills are full of minerals.
And the oceans full of wealth.
And the oceans full of wealth.
And this is all due to your glancing over them.
And this is all due to your glancing over them.
So Kunti Maharani is continuing to glorify how the Lord's presence, even in the form of his potencies, are actually making everything very beautiful. Prabhupada writes in the purport, human prosperity flourishes by natural gifts and not by gigantic industrial enterprises. The gigantic industrial enterprises are products of a godless civilization, and they cause the destruction of the noble aims of life. So you can see very clearly what Prabhupada's thoughts and feelings are about industries. Industries destroy the noble way of human life, is what Prabhupada is saying. The more we go on increasing such troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of the human being, the more there will be unrest and dissatisfaction of the people in general. Although a few only can live lavishly by exploitation. So actually, the industrial complexes are exploitation of human beings. I was reading the transcripts of Prabhupada's lectures, both in Mayapur and LA, on this particular shloka. And Prabhupada says, Kunti Devi is not saying here, my dear Lord, you've built such beautiful, you've given human beings such wonderful intelligence. They've built these big, big towns and cities, and they're flourishing because of the industrial revolutions. Oh, my dear Lord, you've created so many slaughterhouses, cinemas and clubs, and because of that, human beings are flourishing. No, Kunti Devi is talking about a very normal, natural, simple way of living. And therefore, Prabhupada is saying, this industry, this mass production, factories, all of this drain the human energy. Even though they may be paying nicely for some of us, ultimately they drain your vital energy and they cause dissatisfaction of the people in general. But a few people who have developed all of these industries are enjoying themselves in very lavish wealth. In other words, they are actually exploiting the others. Prabhupada writes, the natural gifts such as grains and vegetables, fruits, rivers, the hills of jewels and minerals, and the seas full of pearls are supplied by the order of the Supreme. And as he desires, material nature produces them in abundance or restricts them at times. The natural law is that the human being may take advantage of these godly gifts by nature and satisfactorily flourish on them without being captivated by the exploitative motive of lording it over material nature. So Prabhupada says that Krishna's arrangement, even though he is punishing us, is complete. Everything is already supplied by Krishna to us. Purnamadam, Purnamida, Purnat Purnamudachyate. This is in the Ishopanishad invocation. So everything that the Lord has created is perfect. It is complete. It's perfectly complete and it is completely perfect. The only problem for us, Prabhupada says, is if we don't add Krishna in our life, we will never be happy. That is a quote that Prabhupada gives from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. There is a shloka in the 20th chapter, 117th shloka. Krishna bhuli se jiva anadi bahirmukha ata eva maya tare deya samsara dukhi. So, if we are not facing towards Krishna, we will have multitudes of distresses. That is the bottom line. So our fault, Prabhupada says, is that we have forgotten Krishna. So in the spiritual world, there is complete satisfaction for the Jivatmas. In the material world, there is zero satisfaction for the Jivatmas. And Prabhupada makes a very interesting statement in the Mayapur lecture. He says, actually, in a higher sense, there is no material. Because Prabhupada quotes one of the sutras, Sarvam Khalvadham Brahma, that everything is actually Brahman. This is a statement that is made in the Chandogya Upanishad. And Prabhupada says everything is Krishna. Everything comes from Krishna. Parasya Shakti Vivideva Shriyate. Everything. The Lord has supplied everything. And look at what Kunti Maharani is saying here. She's saying, even in the cities and towns, they are all flourishing. But they're not flourishing because of industries. And Prabhupada quotes, when I travel from Vrindavan to Delhi, first time Prabhupada visited Vrindavan when he arrived back from the US. Prabhupada says the first thing you notice is these big tire factories. Polluting the air, polluting the river. He said, I have traveled everywhere. I've been in France, I've been in US, I've been in Russia, I've been in so many different places and I see nothing but dirty rivers. So filthy you can't even take a sip of water. And then he quotes Ganges. No matter what you do to the Ganges is always pure. So everybody feels comfortable taking a bath in the Ganges. So Prabhupada says, the natural gifts such as grains and vegetables, fruits, rivers, the hills of jewels and minerals, and the seas full of pearls are supplied by the order of the Supreme. So the Lord instructs the demigods to give us everything that we need so that we have a comfortable life. So we don't have to work very hard for basic necessities. That way, human beings can spend their time practicing Krishna consciousness. The natural law is that the human being may take advantage of these godly gifts by nature and satisfactorily flourish from them without being captivated by the exploitative motive of lording it over material nature. The more we attempt to exploit material nature according to our whims of enjoyment, the more we shall become entrapped by the reaction of such exploitative attempts. If we have sufficient grains, fruits, vegetables, and herbs, then what is the necessity of running a slaughterhouse and killing poor animals? A man need not kill an animal if he has sufficient grains and vegetables to eat. The flow of river waters fertilizes the fields, and there is more than what we need. Minerals are produced in the hills and the jewels in the ocean. Prabhupada is talking about the pearls. If the human civilization has sufficient grains, minerals, jewels, water, milk, etc., then why should it hanker after terrible industrial enterprises at the cost of the labor of some unfortunate men? So Prabhupada says, in those days, people used to be happy having a small field, growing their own vegetables and crops, and whatever was surplus, they would barter it or they would save it. But then here come the industries, Prabhupada says. They say, no, that is useless work that you're doing. That's hard labor. We will pay you more. We will give you all the amenities that you need. You please come and you take this job. Prabhupada says this is how we get attracted away from leading a very simple life. Krishna has already supplied everything. But we think, no, Krishna is not very intelligent. I need a lot more. Therefore, I will trust in these industrial complexes because they can give me more than Krishna can give me. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, but all these natural gifts are dependent on the mercy of the Lord. What we need, therefore, is to be obedient to the laws of the Lord and achieve the perfection of human life by devotional service. The indications by Kunti Devi are just to the point. She desires that God's mercy be bestowed upon them so that natural prosperity be maintained by His grace. So Prabhupada says that modern inventions are meant to take you straight to hell. That is modern life. It is designed so that it will make you forget Krishna. And then Prabhupada quotes, what did Narada Muni do? He plucks one hunter, he puts him by the side of the river, and he tells him, chant, Rama, 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 Rama. And then the hunter starts chanting, Rama, 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 Rama. And then suddenly the hunter is thinking, but then who will supply me food if I do this? What about my family? What about my wife? What about my children? I feel very nice that my Guru Maharaj has given me this wonderful mantra to chant, but who's going to take care of my family? To which Narada Muni said, don't worry. I've made all the arrangements for you. And so this hunter continues to chant, Rama, 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 Rama. And Prabhupada says, from a hunter, he became a Vaishnava. And because he became such a wonderful Vaishnava, people started to visit him. And when you visit somebody saintly, you will always take some Guru Dakshina. So he was getting rice, he was getting pulses, he was getting things. Then suddenly he's thinking, oh my God, but why is my Guru Maharaj sending me so much? I don't need so much. So this is the arrangement of Krishna for us. He has already given us so much. We don't need anything more other than finding the time, creating the time, or using the time to practice Krishna consciousness. But that's not what we are doing, unfortunately. All of us are trapped in a life where we have enslaved ourselves willingly. So Prabhupada says, if we simply learn to depend on Krishna, we will not have any scarcity in our life. Yoga Kshemam Vahamyam. So we shouldn't worry about temptations from people who are just looking to exploit us. And Prabhupada says, what's the point of getting a bigger paycheck? Are you happy? How can the industries give you much more than what Krishna has given you? Are we so dumb that we have trusted in human beings and we've lost our faith in Krishna? So many people have convinced us that it is very primitive for us to depend on Krishna. And Prabhupada gives some very funny examples. He said, I am seeing that people are eating on plastic plates. And he was struggling for the word, these Chinese porcelain bowls. He said, do you know that in our culture, we would only eat on metal plates? And then he says the Brahmanas would only eat on silver plates. So from metal, we've gone to plastic and we think we've made great advancement. And Prabhupada says, in those days, at least if you had a silver plate or a Banaras sari or something like that, and if you were in a little bit of trouble, you could give this to the local money lender and he will give you some money in exchange and you can tie it over and get, pay him back and get it back. He said, now you can't give your plastic plates to any money lender. What will he do with it? Because it's useless. Prabhupada saying, this is how we are using our brains to generate more plastic, no more porcelain. He said, that's not real wealth. So Prabhupada is saying, modern day life, we are misusing our intelligence. So we are simply caught up in a life where we are using everything to satisfy ourselves and nothing is left in us, even energy-wise, to serve Krishna. There is a shloka in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Prabhupada quotes that. Anasaktasya vishayan yathartam upayunjitaha nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagya uchyate. So whatever Krishna has given us, we have to use it in his own service. So this is the mood of Kunti Devi, where she's appreciating the fact that actually the Lord has already supplied us with everything. So prosperity is there automatically. That is how the material world has been designed. That prosperity will be yours, but you have to be obedient to Krishna.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification. If you'd like to join our classes every day, please check the details in the description section of this video. We look forward to serving you.